Today we have with us Dr. Ichita Joshi to explain the entire process of getting an admission after your NEET MDS exam. Dr. Ichita Joshi got a rank of 151 in her first attempt. Currently, she is pursuing MDS in prosthodontics in GDC Hyderabad. Other than that, she also has a successful blog in which she explains how to go about studying for the NEET MDS. She has already come on an interview podcast with us about NEET MDS. If you're planning to study or give a second attempt in NEET MDS, that is a video which you must watch. I'm Dr. Satish Kumar. This is Kaizen Dental. Our aim here is to help dentists succeed. Hi, Dr. Chita. It's nice to see you again on our interview sessions. So today we are going to
Hello,
dif- dis-
sir.
so today we are going to discuss a totally different topic. Last time it was about how to score well in your NEET MDS, and this time we are going to
Yes,
talk about after the NEET MDS. Once you get your score, how do you go through the entire process of getting a seat?
yes, sir.
So the first question is: now I've given my NEET MDS, I've got my marks. How does the entire
Hmm.
process start and how does it go?
Okay. So after you get your results, the first thing that you have to do is take a breath, have a glass of water, because you've given NEET MDS, you've got your result, and things are going to change from now on. This result might change the course of your future. So after that, jokes apart, like what you actually have to do. First thing is that you have to make a list of all the branches that you prefer. You have to do a lot of homework basically. So for that, talk to lots of clinicians, talk to your seniors, talk to your colleagues. What do they prefer? What is the scenario in clinical situation? Depending on what you plan to do your MDS, you have to make a list of all the branches. So, for example, your first preference is endo, second preference is prostho, or something like that. You should know what do you want, what suits you in the end. Then the next thing is your preferences for the colleges. What do you want? What do you expect from your college? So, do you want it to be in a small city or in a big metropolitan city? Do you want connectivity from your home and how the food should be? Small things. You should basically list out each and everything that you want. And it also depends on a lot of factors like what is your rank? Are you happy with your rank or are you not? Is it a good result for you or not? Again, those things are very subjective. So if you are adamant that I want to do it from a government institutions only and I want to get the stipend and all those perks, then a rank below 300 will be a good result for you. But if you want to study from those good deemed universities and you are ready to pay the cost, the high fees, then even a rank of 600 is a good result because you will get your MTS seat. That is the end goal. So it depends on all those factors. Uh, After that, when you've listed what you want, then you have to start digging up all the information that what all colleges are good. You have to download the merit list and the allotment list of previous 2, 3 years and see what all colleges are allotted near your rank. From that, you will get some idea. So then you have to contact the people who are studying there, who have passed out, UG studying there, because everybody have a different perspective on that particular department about which you want to inquire about. So getting different perspectives, you will have a fair idea. Okay, pedo department in this XYZ college looks like this. It is strict and guides are like this. These are the pros and cons. So this whole part is very, very important. So I would suggest everybody to maintain a proper record of it because it gets very, very confusing in the end. Like I used to speak to various people from various GDCs. Then somebody from GDC Indore would say this department is like that. Then it would get mixed up with somebody else who were talking about their college. So after 2, 3 days, I would get confused which department was like what in which college. So it's always a better thing to maintain a proper record. Just write it down somewhere and list out all the pros and cons, what you want, what you don't want. So this homework part is very important. Again, I'm emphasizing. And also, I would suggest everybody to watch your videos based on the same thing, like how you should choose your college. You have a whole playlist on it. So I will not repeat all those things again. They can definitely view it from there. And by the time you are finishing with all this homework, it will be 1 month or maybe 2 months, and the counseling process will start. The notifications will come, and the seat matrix will be released. After the seat matrix is released, then you will get a fair idea about which seats you are eligible for, be it a category seat or an open seat. You just have to see which seats you can get. For example, I was hoping for a certain college for a certain seat, but then after the seat matrix came, then there was zero seats in general category in that college. So then I realized, okay, I'm not eligible for this. Then I have to specifically look for those options which are eligible for me. So after the seat matrix comes, things become very, very clear. And then you can proceed with the choice filling and lock your choices and finally get the result. This is how the basic procedure, how it works. And usually it's in a very organized manner with specified time periods, specified dates, and you have to stick to all it and be very careful regarding the whole procedure.
Understood. So you have explained the entire process in a very good and simplified manner. But you had told in the start, somewhere in between that, there are these previous years, the seat allotment patterns. You have to go and check them out. Where can the students go and check this seat allotment pattern and get a rough idea about the process? Before you listen to the answer to that question, if you're enjoying this video, please do not forget to hit the like button below because the guests out here have taken out time from their schedule to come and clear your doubts.
The students can check it in MCC website, that is Medical Counseling Committee. There they upload all the results, all the procedure about the counseling, how it happens. And also they have a record of the previous year's counselings also. So from there you can download it as a PDF.
Great. So, what we'll do is we'll find that website and we'll put it in our description below. So, those who are
Yes,
interested in it can go and check that out as well. So, now
definitely.
there is some confusion about state counseling and central counseling because there are certain seats which get allotted to the center, certain seats which get allotted to the state. Can you explain us that process in brief?
So basically, there are two types of counselings which go on side by side. One is the All India Counselling and one is the State Counselling. So in All India Counselling, we have 50% of the government seats and all the deemed universities. And in State Counselling, we have 50% of the leftover government seats and all the private colleges. So how it really goes, ideally, the first round of All India Counselling starts. After that, when the results and everything is declared, then the states they start holding up their counselings. So after that first round of state is over, then what happens is a person who is eligible for state counseling, obviously they know they'll get a better rank through their state merit list, they can get a better seat. So they usually prefer going through the state counseling. So in All India Round 1, everybody applies. Everybody applies. Unless and until somebody is very sure that they'll get a good seat through their state, the topper types, usually they go through the All India Round 1, even if they don't want the seat. Because at the end of round 1, if you're not taking up the allotted seat, you have an option of free exit. So your fees will not be deducted, it will be reimbursed, and you have nothing to lose basically. So because of this free exit option, people like to move to the state counseling eventually. So when people move to the state counseling, obviously the seats are vacant in All India vacancies now. So in the All India round 2, what happens because of the vacant seats above you, you have an option of upgradation. Either you can fill as fresh choices in your round 2, or you can upgrade. If you've taken up admission, you can upgrade it. So in upgradations, definitely you get better seats, and what you were not expecting, maybe you will get that also. And there is a rule that if people they participate in the state counseling, they cannot keep on switching from here to there. So the people who are participating in round 2 again of All India, they are not eligible for state counseling's further rounds. Otherwise, what
Oh,
will happen? the people will keep on holding seats in both the counselings, and it's not the correct thing. So just because for that, the government has made a rule that if anybody does this, their name will be circulated among all the states and they'll be debarred from the counseling. So one should be very careful about from where they're applying and how to go about it.
Understood. So basically, after the second round of All India, if I finalize my seat in second round of All India, then I cannot move to the second round state counseling. So basically, I
Yeah.
have first round of All India, first round of state counseling where I can go through my choices. But after my
Yes.
second round All India, I have to decide whether I'm going to be the All India's part or I'm going to move to the state part. You've explained that really well. But there's this doubt. Now, imagine I've done my BDS from one state and I have my domicile of another state. So can I apply
Okay.
in both the states?
See, for the state counselings, in every state, things are very different. Every state has their own rules and regulations, eligibility criteria. There is no hard and fast rule. So usually, from which state you hold the domicile, you are eligible. Also, for from where you have done your BDS, you are eligible there. But there are exceptions to that. For example, for me, my home state from which I was holding a domicile, they had a rule that you have to also complete your BDS from the same state.
Oh,
Only then you will be eligible for government seats. So I was not eligible for my home state. Then coming to the state from which I did my BDS, so there they have specifically mentioned that people who have studied from Army Dental College, that is my UG college, they have to complete a specific residential period in the state, only then they'll be eligible, apart from their BDS years. So since I've just done BDS from here, I was not eligible for my BDS state also.
oh,
So in the end, I was not eligible for any state counseling. My only resort was All India counseling, and I was totally dependent on that. But then there are some people who are eligible for both. It totally depends on which state you belong to and from where you are doing your BDS. There are some closed states. They only allow people, even for private seats, they only allow people who are just from their own specific state. And then there are some states like Karnataka, which is an open state. So even if you have a domicile from any other state, you can still apply in the private colleges, deemed universities.
understood. So we have to find out each and every state rules and regulations based on where we want to go. So for this, we will
Definitely.
not find the details in MCC website. We'll have to go to the state counseling specific websites, right?
You have to, yes, yes. You have to log on to that specific website. You have to read the whole brochure very carefully, because during my BDS time, I used to think, since I'm doing BDS from this specific state, Telangana, so definitely I'll be eligible for state counseling. But when I read that brochure and I realized that I am not eligible, so people who are watching this, they should make sure it doesn't happen to them and learn from my mistakes.
So going to those brochures is extremely important. Plus, there are chances that the MCC website keeps updating stuff once the counseling starts. So going there and checking the updates regularly is also something which each one needs to do. Okay.
Right.
So you explain the process. I want to know, this entire process is free or do you have to make any payment for it?
Yes, sir. There is a payment which is required for your registration itself. If you are applying in All India Counseling and you are only applying for the government seats, then a payment of 25,000 has to be done. And if you are applying for the deemed colleges, the private colleges, then the fees is 2 lakh rupees.
Okay.
But this fees is adjusted with your college fees when you get the admission. And also, if you're not taking up any seats, that is, you're getting the free exit option after the first round, not to worry, you will get your money back. But when you will not get your money back is you take up the seat and then you don't join the college. At that time, you have to give your money back to the MCC committee, and they won't give your money back. So try to avoid any such things. Just make sure that if you're not taking up the seat, if you're not interested for the seat, so you should withdraw from the counseling well in time so that you get your 2 lakhs or 25,000 in right time.
So now that you have explained the entire process in detail, okay, I would like to know what are the most common mistakes you have seen young applicants do, whether you did them or you've seen others do, and how can they avoid it?
Okay, so there is lot of scope for a lot of blunders and mistakes during this procedure because it's so technical, and people who are participating it, especially for the first time, they will be very confused. They can make mistakes. So I will try to list out a few common mistakes that usually people do. So first thing is that they are not paying attention to the dates. So they are not alert and aware. There are people who have missed out their counseling dates. Even after getting a good rank, they ended up with no seats
Wow.
because they missed out the date for registration. Somebody said it's on 25th, and in reality it's on 23rd, but you are just listening to your friend and you are so casual about it that you miss out on the whole counseling procedure. So such blunders have also happened with people. Next thing would be not reading the brochure properly, not educating yourself properly with the whole procedure. So I would suggest that don't listen to what your friend, senior, and somebody is saying. Just because they're saying it, you don't have to believe it. You have to make sure that your source is a trusted one. So for that, the MCC website, they release a brochure, and also your state counseling, for that, you have a specific brochure with all the guidelines, the procedure, the documentation required, everything. So you should go through it A to Z. Even if you have any doubt, there are FAQs in the end, very nicely mentioned. And also those websites, they have a helpline number. You can call them, you can clarify your doubt. Then a next mistake, what people do is not taking care of their documents. People lose out on their documents. They realize that this document is not there with them, or it got mixed up somewhere, or they didn't even get it from the college. For example, your permanent registration, your degree, and the caste certificate, especially. So, for example, if you're taking a seat through category, suppose OBC category, and when you come at the time of admission, at that time, if your certificate is not valid or it has to be renewed or it is not there, you will lose out on your seat. So there are a lot of factors which play into this. So you have to be very, very careful regarding all the documentation. Next thing is filling out all the details properly. You have to be very careful about your name, the spelling, the details of your PDS, everything that is specified in the website, you have to cross check it. Another mistake that people do is not filling enough choices in the first round. What people do is they get very choosy that I will only do from this college, only this department. So what happens? Maybe your rank is that you will not get that department in the first round. So even after getting a good rank, if you're very choosy regarding your choices, what happens is you end up with no seat after the first round. And that is very discouraging. Trust me, it has happened with people. Even after getting a rank below 100, they have just filled a few colleges which they wanted, and they ended up with no seat in their hands after the first round. So in the first round, you have to be very careful that you fill lots and lots of choices. Definitely not the ones which you don't absolutely want, but you should try to fill maximum number of choices. 100 choices or 120, whichever is available for you. You should try to fill it. Even the non-clinical branches, clinical branches, everything. And just relating to this, another mistake which people do is not filling specific choices in round two. So what happens is that after you've allotted your round one seat, then you go there, you get your admission done. Now you are a part of that college. At the same time, you apply for upgradation in round two. Now what happens once you have participated in round two and you get a seat allotted, then your round one seat will be automatically cancelled. You have to stick to your round two seat. So what has happened with people here is that during upgradation, that is for round two, they have filled again random number of choices, this college, that college, even the things that they don't want. And there are chances that in round two, you will be allotted that college which is lower on your preference list. So what happens with people? It's not an upgradation, it's a downgradation of your MDS seat. So you should try to avoid it. During the second round, whichever choices you're filling, you just have to make sure that this is better than my current seat, only then I will fill it. And in the round two, suppose all the specific choices which you filled, they are not available for you. You will be allotted no seat. It's okay. Your round one seat will be with you where you've already gotten the admission. So you will proceed with your MDS through the round one seat. So one more mistake, the last but not the least, is keeping things in the last moment. There are people who do everything in the last hour. They register in the last hour, the last minute. They will register, they'll do the payment in the last minute. For such people, what sometimes happens is that when they're doing the payment will not work, the server is down. When they're registering, the server is down, or they're having some digital problems. So what happens? They basically miss out on their whole counseling procedure because they didn't even register in the first place. They didn't do the payment. So you should try to avoid doing things in the last moment. Be well in time, fill everything according to specified dates. Just don't leave anything for the last moment. It's a very important thing of your life, a very important phase. You will get your MDS seat, and you will get that MDS tag, the college, the branch, which is forever for the rest of your life. So just be very careful regarding all these things.
Understood. You have answered most of the questions. I'm sure everyone will got a clarity about the entire process, and they would take extreme care in avoiding the most common mistakes which all are doing. Thank you, Dr. Ichita, for your time here today.
Thank you so much, sir. It was really great being with you again on your YouTube channel. And I'm always a fan of all your videos. And you can also check out my blog if you want any assistance, or you can reach out to me on my Instagram page.
Sure.